So, partly for the purposes of off-roading and partly for the purposes of getting my girlfriend to stop complaining about how low the car is, I put a lift kit on the Subaru. I wanted to test out the lift kit, so I went to the junkyard and bought a set of springs and struts off a junked Forester. I then added to this a set of 1-inch strut spacers. So the car is lifted 1 inch higher than a stock Forester would be, and 2 inches higher than the Petters suspension that I was running on this car. Now I've got a 2001 Subaru Forester, and it has McPherson struts all the way around the car. And according to Primitive Racing, these earlier McPherson suspensions all the way around can handle a 2-inch lift before you have to worry about modifying other aspects of the suspension. So how's the ride? It's not nearly as soft as I had anticipated. When I first got this car, back when it had a stock suspension, it was very soft ride. I mean, I barely noticed speed bumps. So with this lift kit comprising of the stock suspension plus a spacer, I thought for sure this would be a really soft ride again, but it's not though. It's kind of harsh. I'm not sure if this is due to the geometry, the slight geometry, the angle of like the front control arm, you know, that sort of thing, or something else, or if I'm just not, or maybe I'm just not hitting the speed bumps fast enough, you know? So anyways, this is how I installed a lift kit on my Subaru. So if you have a stock suspension and you have never messed with the brake lines before, it is very important to note at this point that the brake lines run directly through the struts. There is a little tab off the struts that the brake lines run through. There is no way to get those off of the strut without taking the brake lines apart. So that means that you would have to drain the brake fluid at this point, or get very crafty and very skillfully cut little tab on the strut. Put a notch in it big enough that you can then finagle the brake line through that notch, and then later on put the brake line back in and either zip tie it back in or find some other creative way of holding it on that tab. So if you're not just like brimming with confidence that this is not a problem, don't do it. Because when you're cutting into this tab, you don't even want to think about cutting the brake line or even nicking the brake line or coming close to the brake line. Don't do it. Or take the safe route and bleed the brakes and redo the brake fluid and everything on your brakes. That's totally feasible. It just will take more time, but it's a safer alternative. It's a safer alternative. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me make more of these videos, and I'd love to have you with me on more of these wrenching adventures.